Welcome back to the farm down at MUSC Urban Farm. My name's Andrew Hargett. I am the arborist for campus, and we're going to talk about fertilizing our food-producing trees, most notably citrus today. So what we have here is a Meyer lemon that we did some pruning on recently. And what we're going to do is we're going to fertilize this tree so that we get good growth and hopefully claim the form. So we need to do a little math today to calculate how much fertilizer we need. So essentially you want 3.5 pounds of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. We have 64 square feet approximately. So we need 1/4 of a pound of nitrogen for this area. Now, since this is a 16-pound bag and is 3% nitrogen, doing the math, we get 0.48 pounds of nitrogen per pound. That means to get 1/4 pound of nitrogen, we need to use 1/2 pound of this product. Since there's 16 pounds in here, you can divide it by 16s and just use 1/2 of one of those 16s. Or you can weigh it, whichever's easiest. Spread it around the root zone. I would also concentrate on the higher end and let it wash down. And that's about 1/2 pound total. And that fertilizing our citrus tree. Now there's another option. They also make fruit spikes, for those of you who don't like to do math. So it's important to read the directions on the products before we use them. You remember our granulated fertilizer was 3-5-5, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium. This one happens to be 9-12-12, so it's a different mix. Has more water insoluble nitrogen. These spikes are designed to feed all winter long. And as I mentioned earlier, these make math a little more unnecessary because the directions tell us that for every trunk diameter in inches, we use 2 spikes. So 1 to 2 trunk diameter inches, we'll use 2 spikes. If it's 3 inches, we'll use 3, 4, we'll use 4, and so on. Now, the diameter of the trunk is approximately, we want to look above the graph, and you can see it's about 2.5 inches, maybe 3. So the other thing is, do you add fertilizer to soil? That's awesome. That's why we should get soil tests, so that we really know. This being an urban environment, we know the soil's not the greatest. However, the urban farm has been putting compost and things down, has enriched the soil mightily over these last 10 years. So due to the size of this tree and following the directions and knowing the soil conditions that we have here at the farm, we're going to use 2 spikes for now, especially given that it's winter. Whereas maybe on St. Patrick's Day, we might up that to 3 spikes so that during the growing season, it has more nutrients available. We take the spike, we put it in the ground. You can push it with the heel of your hand. These come with plastic caps, and you can use a hammer. It really depends on the soil soil nature, how easily it is to get in the ground. These go in the ground pretty easy. So I'm just going to use my hand. 1. You can step on them to make sure that they're in good. Some people use the heel. Either way. So as you can see, these are firmly in the ground now, and we have placed these about 2/3 out of the way of the drip line. The drip line's the actual edge of the canopy where the water hits from the trunk. And you can see we're somewhere between 1/2 and 2/3 on both sides of this tree. So here we have a peach tree that was transplanted here earlier this year. She's struggling a good bit, as is the nature of trees that get transplanted to their new home. She's in full sun. You can see she's at least 4 inches in diameter. The directions tell us to use 4 spikes for a 4-inch tree. So we're going to use 4 spikes because I don't have to do math if I use the spikes. Now again, here's the edge of the drip line, here's the trunk. This one, we are going to cheat slightly inside, but that's due to the fact that it was recently transplanted. Had it been here the whole time, we probably would put our spikes out here about 2/3 of the way out to the edge of the drip line. Because we lost a lot of roots, it's important that these roots come back. Fertilization is one of the ways to accomplish that. Also, the spikes really should get watered in so that they don't move around and they start dissolving right away. So we're not pruning this tree today because it was recently moved. Clearly it could use a little interior pruning. However, since it was recently transplanted, we're going to see how it comes back next spring. Now, looking at the mulch here, see where the mulch has deteriorated a good bit over time. Not that much. We've got our root flare right here. It's in a great spot. Elevation-wise, we're good. So we don't want to add a bunch of mulch close to the trunk. We certainly could add mulch out here where it has decomposed so they keep the roots nice and warm all winter long. That decomposition will feed the tree naturally so that you don't have to use fertilizer spikes as much, and also it will help it retain its moisture and keep the roots happy and healthy. Now we will monitor this tree in the spring, see how she comes back. Pieces are a little dicey here in Charleston. They don't get the vernalization or the chill hours that they like to set their fruits, but this is a Florida king, so hopefully it can make that adjustment. Thanks for watching.